Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin is at yet another new all-time high. The price rallied up to $118,000 yesterday in an insane 7% candle, and the move could very much be marking out the top, at least on the short term. We're going to dive into the charts today and talk about how much further this rally can go for Bitcoin, including analysis on both the short time frame and high time frame, and the potential for a correction here and where exactly that could take us. Let's get into it. As always, before we jump in, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and sign up to my free Telegram channel for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so jumping into the charts, let's preface the video by talking about the new all-time highs that Bitcoin has created here before we jump into our analysis. So here on the daily time frame, we can see it has been an absolutely insane last 48 to even 72 hours of price action from Bitcoin. We've created new highs for about 3 days in a row now. On Thursday, we started off with a new high here at $112,000, right, which was a new one by about 40 bucks. We had the next one here at $117,600, and currently today, with about 20 minutes left until the next daily candle close, Bitcoin has created its most recent and current all-time high at $118,873. So needless to say, it's been an absolutely insane 3 days of price action, and ever since the breakout here when we retested 110k support, pushed above the top of this resistance here at the prior high and that daily close high as well, Bitcoin has rallied about 7.5%, which is absolutely huge. And so with rallies like that and massive move upwards, it's time to start to talk about the potential here for a short-term correction or even the end of the move. And otherwise, what's telling us that this rally is going to continue on the high time frame at the very least, and where that could potentially take us. Now, before we get into any more analysis, guys, let's really quickly touch on one of the most important parts of being a successful trader, and that's managing your trading fees. So BTC has partnered with me to help you guys out and give you 15% off all of your trading fees. So if you'd like to support the channel and you're still really looking for a great non-KYC exchange with lots of listings, high liquidity, and security, BTC is definitely a great one to check out. And as a thank you for signing up under my affiliate code, you can get 10% off your VIP membership if you message me your affiliate code or your membership number when you check out your VIP membership. Thanks. Let's get back into the charts. If we zoom out a little bit on the daily chart here and take a look at the broader context of price action, we can see one of the main reasons why there is a strong potential for Bitcoin to have developed a top here at $118,000. So before the breakout here at 110k, we had a very sort of solid range of consolidation. We had repetitive rejections from $110,000 as a level of resistance, and each subsequent test took Bitcoin down to this base over here at 102k. We had two deviation lows, one to retest the 50 and one to retest the 100k, but bouncing on both those levels, we continue to validate that range, right? Once again, retesting $110,000, and most recently breaking above that level, we had the rally. We had the rally all the way up to 118,000. Now, the reason why there is a strong potential for a top here to develop at 118, at least on the short term, is because if we take a look at the measured move of that consolidation range from 102 to 110,000 and apply the measured move up to the breakout point at 110k, we can essentially see that Bitcoin has completely fulfilled that move, right? We've moved right up pretty much exactly to meet that black line in that measured move. And so what that tells us about the price action moving forward is essentially everything that this range of consolidation could have told us about the price action moving forward has already been fulfilled. And thus, having fulfilled the measured move and having completed that measured move and breaking above $110,000, there's a potential here that we see at least a short-term correction. And so moving forward, we sort of have three key scenarios, right? One, where we develop a new segment of consolidation, where upon subsequent breakout, we see another rally into a new all-time high once again, or we have a short-term correction, a bounce, and then once again, another rally, or most bearishly, we see a short-term correction, and that correction marks the top for not only this current recent rally, but potentially the entire segment of high time frame rallying that we have done for the last 2-year period from 16,000 and above, right? Where Bitcoin sees a high time frame period of potentially bearish consolidation. So let's move on to the high time frame charts and talk about that possibility. What is the possibility that on the high time frame we continue upwards despite the potential here for a short time frame local top? Now, if we go back to our basics and we take a look at the 4-year cycle and this, scaled out BLX chart, we can see that in terms of date range trends for the 4-year cycle, so every single time frame from the bottom to the top in every 4-year cycle since the inception of Bitcoin, we can see that we've had 1,064 days. And if we apply that to the current cycle from the bottom at $16,000 to the potential top as per date range trends, we do have quite some time. We are on the 12th of July right now, and the predicted top date is Monday, the 6th of October. So that generally tells us that we have around a 3-month period before Bitcoin should be topping out. And so if we reference that to what we've seen on the daily time frame and that measured move breakout, what that essentially tells us is that despite the fact that there is a strong potential, we see a little bit of a correction here or a short-term local top developing, the overall high time frame charts mark still a high potential for a period of price discovery moving forward in terms of high time frame price action. So more likely then in those 3 scenarios we talked about that we have a short-term correction leading to a bounce, or we enter a new period of consolidation leading to a subsequent breakout and continued new all-time highs. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the shorter time frame charts on Bitcoin and talk about what we need to be watching out for moving forward to determine the next segment of price action, right? What is the next immediate, most predictable price action? So here on the 15-minute chart, we have to zoom in quite a fair bit because the rally is so recent and so fresh still. But on the 15-minute chart, we can see that currently Bitcoin has a couple key levels that we're really looking at. This is our neutral territory right here above this trigger level at $115,000. We can see it mapped out as a crucial level of support here by that low right there, but also on the VRPV profile by this massive gap that we have right here, right? So essentially what this tells us is that below this neutral territory, we risk quite an aggressive correction for Bitcoin. We fall below the 200 EMA as well here on the 15-minute chart, and that takes Bitcoin down to the end of that VRPV gap and into this range here from 113 to $112.8 thousand, right? That is our sort of more short-term bearish case scenario where Bitcoin might enter a higher time frame period of consolidation because the drop was so aggressive. Now, within our neutral period of price action, or this range here, and above $15,000, we can see we have 2 key trigger levels. We have our current level of support that Bitcoin is challenging right now, and that is at $18,000. We can see 2 retests of that and rejections from that level, taking us to claim this base here as a support. And that support is at from 116,600 to 116,800, right? That is our support, and this is our resistance. And so moving forward in terms of the short time frame price action, these are our triggers. If Bitcoin pushes above this resistance here, we'll move on to challenge this most final level of resistance at, you guys guess, 118,800, the all-time high. And if we push above that, we re-enter price discovery. Everything's cheery, and despite the fact that the daily chart looks like we could have a potential local top, we're going to see continued rally. And my personal prediction for if we break out of 118,000 is, like I said in all my other videos when we talk about price discovery, is movement into those whole numbers. So the next whole number we have is $120,000. Now that is very likely going to be a very strong sell level, right? Where because of the psychological nature of a whole number, very likely moving into it, we're going to have a lot of selling pressure. And so we might not even tap 120, very likely somewhere around 19,000, 119, before seeing a short-term correction to retest this level of support, potentially even retesting this level here at 18,000 flat. And the trigger level moving downwards is, of course, this level here, 16K. Falling below that, we move down to sort of reclaim and retest $15,000, where we retest that sort of bearish trigger level here as well. So in terms of short-term frame price action, it's very simple moving forward. We have 2 key levels that we're watching out for, and in terms of seeing a larger correction, 1 key level and volume gap right there. Now, while we're on the topic of the short time frame price action and what we're looking at over the next couple of days to trigger that upwards or downwards move, we need to talk about the weekly chart as well. So here on the weekly chart, we've got 2 days left to the next close. And what we're seeing here is honestly really, really interesting and quite bullish. So in my last video, guys, we talked about how in the next rally, after breaking out of $110,000 and closing above that level as support, what we wanted to see in that subsequent rally here on the weekly chart was for Bitcoin to form a higher high on the RSI. And guess what we've done? We have finally, for the first time in this 1.5 year period, after multiple instances of bearish divergence in each subsequent new all-time high, we have actually pushed RSI to form the first higher high here on the charts in 1.5 years, right? So with 2 days left for the weekly candle close, what we're essentially looking at is for the RSI to close above that level. So we just draw that line in, that's at 68.03. We want it to close above that prior high. But also most ideally is if Bitcoin is able to actually push above this RSI downtrend as well, that could signal a really, really bullish flip, right? Because that essentially means that ever since this rally up to $73,000, momentum has been decreasing. We've seen decreasing buying pressure on the way upwards. And so the rallies, each rally subsequently becomes more and more inherently risky and more likely to signal the top. Whereas breaking out of that downtrend and forming a higher high here on the RSI as well, we're signaling that in this current rally here, momentum has finally flipped bullish on the weekly time frame, and it increases the probability of seeing a higher time frame and more aggressive rally than we have seen in these ones over here. Now, before I wrap up the video, guys, I really quickly want to do a PSA about my upload schedule for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to Vietnam on Monday, and I'm not exactly sure 100% what my upload schedule is going to look like, the hotel situation, Wi-Fi situation, and all that other stuff. But I'm going to try my best to try and get a video out at least once a week, and at best in my regular upload time, so Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And if I can't do that, I'll be posting on my Telegram. So if you guys want to keep up to date with new uploads, when that's happening, and so on and so forth, sign up to my free Telegram channel. I'll try not to spam you guys too much with analysis. But yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram to get exclusive access to my personal trading setups. And if you want 15% off your trading fees, you can create your account using my affiliate link. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!